Hey, mateys. It's Friday. It's Friday. I try to give y'all some umph because I ain't got no umph. I ain't got no pumps and no bumps. I ain't got nothing, y'all. The kid is on fumes once again. What did I do today? Worked out. Went to the grocery store. Gonna cook out this weekend. Yeah. Another day, another dollar, another couple of dollars. I am looking at these news stories and I don't know who this man is that has something about Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland is a senior Biden official and Hunter Biden IRS whistleblower claim. Oh, this is Hunter Biden. Why did they use this photo of him with no shirt on looking cracked out? Merrick Garland is snitching on Hunter Biden. Okay. Cool. Let's see what else we got going on. So there's this girl, the love triangle killer, Caitlin Armstrong. Let's see what Caitlin's about here. She's a yoga teacher. I guess she got some plastic surgery. Says she showed off her new face in court on Thursday in a hearing ahead of her murder trial, where she's accused of killing off a romantic rival and pro cyclist Anna Moriah Wilson. Armstrong, who drastically altered her appearance while on the run from authorities last year, expressed little emotion during the hearing. So, did she not express emotion because her face is plastic? Anyway, she was arrested last summer and charged with killing her then boyfriend's fleeing in an entangled love triangle. Armstrong allegedly killed Wilson, 25, in a jealous rage after she discovered her longtime boyfriend, Colin Strickland, also a pro cyclist, dated the victim while on the outs with Armstrong. During Thursday's court date, Armstrong was uncuffed and sported a red crimson garb top and loose black-white striped pants with her hair in a braid. She had her hands behind her back as she and her lawyers faced the judge and held a thick stack of papers on one point. So, she changed her face. I wonder what she looked like before. I gotta see the first face. She kind of favored the girl that she, oh no, that's her. Wonder what her original face looked like. I don't care enough, but yeah, that's what's going on if you guys have been following that case. After legal weed, New York City's once wild 420 party, just another boring street fair because everybody smokes now. It's just another day in the city. I feel like people were abnormally strange today, but it could just be me. But I feel like you guys enhanced your weed today because there's been a lot of weirdos. Why men under 35 can't get it up for sex. Porn is ruining you guys' life. This dude says, Franco Martinez, that porn completely ruined his life. I wasn't really motivated to actually pursue a real relationship or even talk to women because I was just getting my fix through porn. It was impacting me socially. It was impacting my relationships. It was also keeping him from being able to get it up in real life. And he's only 22. He's one of the growing number of Gen Z and millennial males who grew up consuming internet porn from a young age only to experience porn-induced erectile dysfunction. Whoa. Clinical sexologist and psychotherapist Dr. Rob Weiss has watched the phenomenon explode over his 25 years. A porn addiction can lead to I hate these words. Desensitization. When I'm tired, I can't. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. To sexual stimuli, which can decrease arousal and lead to difficulties achieving and maintaining an erection. If my primary source of arousal is constantly looking at 50 images a day or 1,000 images a day, I no longer become that interested on an individual basis. Meaning a real partner can never live up to nonstop porn star performances. Nobody compares to that. One study found that 23% of men who use porn often are under the age of 35. Young men should be in their sexual prime. Reported having an erectile dysfunction with partners. Martina said he experienced it when he began engaging in real-life sexual relationships in college. It was pretty embarrassing, the Texan recalled. When I would go back to my porn, I had no problems, but every time I would try something with a girl, it just didn't work. I didn't know what was going on. A 22-year-old college student who asked that his name be withheld out of embarrassment has been there too. I feel like the porn industry took my ability to love earnestly, and that's the most despairing feeling I've ever felt. He saw porn at 11 in his hockey team's locker room, then went home that evening and searched the internet for more. It was so intense I had to search for a more vanilla video than what they were showing me on the front page of Pornhub. Most of the things disgusted me, but I'll never forget the dopamine high that came at the first time I watched it. Within a matter of months, Chris said he was watching porn like a ritual that he engaged in at least once a day. He didn't think much of it until 6 years later when he first had sex with his girlfriend at 17. In my first serious relationship, I really wanted to be fulfilled sexually by the woman I loved, but I needed porn to be aroused and felt so guilty for it. My mind had been so captivated by needing intense porn at all times to maintain arousal. Even if I deeply cared about the woman I was having sex with and loved her in every sense possible, her body was not enough. It got to the point where the most beautiful woman could walk into the room and tell me she wants to sleep with me, and it would do nothing for me. Researchers have determined that somewhere between 17 to 58% of men who identify as heavy or compulsive porn users experience some sexual dysfunction with the real world partner. My phone is trying to do an update, which is not going to be fun if I have to restart this. Sorry for that noise. But yeah, porn-induced erectile dysfunction. Stop whacking that meat so much, fellas. It's messing you up. Alec and Hilaria shared Tinder photos with each other after Russ shooting charges are dropped. Oh my gosh. So Drake Bell, who was a Nickelodeon star, was missing, and his wife has filed for a divorce after his disappearance. So Drake, what were you doing, buddy? Because, yeah. Wow. A judge threw a book at a serial convict for a horrific attempted rape, calling attack one of the most inhumane that he had seen. A Manhattan judge threw the book at a serial convict for he left the woman unconscious and naked on a Harlem street, calling the attack one of the most inhumane. He was slapped with the maximum sentence. He was convicted of including attempted murder, attempted rape, and assault in 2022, caught on surveillance video. Evidence by our history will remain an extreme danger to society, so they gave him 25 years to life and 50 years to life in prison. He was seen putting on latex glove and ski mask before attacking a 43-year-old woman from behind. The sick fiend punched, kicked, and stomped on her head, and then stripped her naked and tried to rape her limp body. He then stole her jacket, left her by a pile of trash, and fled the scene. The victim had to be sedated in a hospital for 7 days after suffering a traumatic head injury and brain bleeding. That's sad. Yes, he deserves all the time that they'll give him. I say give him more, for real. Let's see what else we got going on. So Kristen Cinema has spent more than $100,000 in campaign cash, jets, limos, and luxury hotels. So I guess she's under fire for that. Barbara Walters is selling her home for $20 million. Knicks won, so they're coming home to the Madison Square Garden. Gen Z is making their first dates go to yoga or boot camp instead of the bar. Active first dates. What do you guys think about that? I'm fine with it. I went to a gym on my first date. Why not? It's what I do in my real life. It's kind of cool. You can talk between sets. It's not terrible. It's almost like one of those eliminate things, though, because if you do like have a good first date, stop. I can't. Okay, I just seen something really inappropriate. But if you do have a good first date, what would you take a shower and go to lunch after? I mean, first date at the gym, just meeting up, working out together is pretty cool. One, you can see how bad somebody's BO might get if you're that interesting. Let's see. The stuff that's be on the internet just be too crazy, y'all. I'm reading more about that Drake and Josh thing when he was reported missing. They aren't really saying nothing about it though, but I was wondering if they were going to show some video of him out creeping. Yeah, y'all, it's a slow news day, which is a good thing. I've read a little bit of murder and mayhem. Nothing really too crazy is going on in the world. 2 people died in that tornado in Oklahoma last night, which is sad. Rest in peace to them. But really, nothing is, the TikTok CEO is still meeting before Congress. Yeah, it's a slow news day, so that's kind of a good thing, right? We did not have any mass shootings today for once. Knock on wood. Because, man, the world we live in. Okay, let's see what Reddit's talking about. Couples, what do you do with morning breath while having sex? Well, I hate morning breath, and I'm very conscious of my morning breath, but my husband, he will kiss me no matter what, which I love because he loves me at all levels of my life, but I don't like it at all. I would much rather brush my teeth, but I don't think men care as much. So let's see what these people are saying. Totally ignore it, don't acknowledge it, enjoy morning sex, and keep your mouth shut, right? Somebody said the cost of doing business. Somebody said doggy style. Somebody said we don't give up, we banging. I love me some morning sex too. Somebody said my girlfriend turns away and doesn't let me kiss her if my breath stinks, but we still have fun. It's just much better to brush your teeth so I can kiss her. We've been together 14 years. I think there's 2 kids in the house. The odd time we have a chance at morning sex, you can be dang sure that a little morning breakfast is stopping that rise. Have you ever walked out of a film because the movie was bad? I fell asleep on some movies. Like that movie Wolf with Jack Nicholson. Man, I went straight to sleep. I laid out. It was empty too. I was out. That's a tip too. Like if you have kids and you need to rest, like I took my kids to Florida, and you know how like you really don't get a moment of rest when you take kids on vacation. Go to a kid movie and just conk out, you know. Make sure they're safe and everything. But man, I got some good sleep in some kid movies. Men, here you go. What are the tricks for lasting longer in bed? Make her go first. During daylight savings time in spring, I lasted over 61 minutes. Haha. Start a regimen of antidepressant medicine. Getting really old worked for me. Lots of foreplay. If you feel you're approaching the point of no return, stop and go down on your partner. There you go. There's some tips for you little guys. Let's get into this story time. I know I had a few things, so let's get started before my phone forces an update.
I had issues for a long time. Ryan has severe substance abuse issues that I found out about the day after we got married. 6 years ago. And all of that was on national television and everything. And so I stayed and tried to help. You know, I was 20. And it just got to be too much. I've done the jail thing, we've done the rehab thing several times. I had our kids alone. He was in rehab. And, you know, it just got to be too much.
Did he know that you were in a file?
I told him that I was in a divorce on maybe like the second Wednesday of the month of January. So he'd known for a minute. And then they came out because he just got crazy and violent. He's never been that way before, ever.
How much did the kids see?
They saw the whole thing.
Are they alright?
I mean, I guess as much as a 4 to 3-year-old can be, they just want to come home and now they can't.
Do you have a place you guys can stay?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
No, what are you sorry for, Mackenzie? You remember what I told you last time we were out here, right? We're here to help, and this is not a situation anybody should have to be dealing with or going through. If you were to make just a wild guess, where would you think he would go?
Maybe his parents.
Okay, where's that at? We're gonna go down to the Bobcat after that. Yes, sir.
One suggestion I would make to you, get that one rifle that's in there, secure that in your car.
Another what?
all that chaos is Mackenzie and Ryan's from Teen Mom, Ryan and Macy and Bentley. I love Bentley. So I've been watching Teen Mom way too long. Ryan went on a little drunken I think he went on a meth bender, but if you've ever watched Teen Mom, Mackenzie, so Macy and Bentley, they're like the original OGs of Teen Mom, and Ryan has had a substance abuse problem forever. And so Mackenzie married him, and on their wedding day, he was freaking nodding out while he was driving to get married. And all these years, Macy kind of kept her son from them, and on the show they were painting Macy as the bad guy, and here we go, now she's crying over him years later, because I think these kids are all 12 and 13 now, and dude is still in and out of prison, and she knew he had a substance abuse problem. If I know a dude on TV has a substance abuse problem, I'm not marrying him. Everybody and their mama know this dude. He was nodding on her wedding day, and she still married him and had children with him. And his parents are huge enablers, which I don't fault them. Parents are parents. Parents just, But, dude. So that was her whining about that.
Information in what happened with Jamie Foxx, and you guys, this is shocking, but it's also reading like a mystery, and I need you guys to help me figure it out. Let me tell you what we know for sure, okay? People are saying that the reason why police came to Jamie Foxx's hospital room wasn't because they were trying to apprehend him. They're saying that Jamie Foxx told the police Jamie Foxx told police somebody was trying to delete him. Yes, that's why the police were there. Okay, so that's the first thing that's just what is going on? If you guys don't know, that set of the movie Jamie Foxx has been working on has been an unmitigated disaster. Literally, 4 people got fired because they were trying to extort, steal. One person was trying to con Jamie out of $30,000 for a Rolex. Jamie called the police to the set quite a few times, but guess what? Police showed up at the hospital. But get this, you'll never guess why they showed up. You guys listen, they showed up because Jamie told the police someone is trying to delete him. Yeah, that's right. Let me repeat this for you guys. The police did actually show up to his hospital. That's been reported. People were speculating he was the one that said something wrong, which is ridiculous because honestly, Jamie Foxx is what? America's sweetheart. Let's be real. He is so unproblematic, it's not even funny. The reason they were called to the hospital is because Jamie Foxx swore somebody was trying to kill him. And I don't know if he had to make a police report or if they were just gathering evidence, but that's why they showed up at the hospital. Now, you guys, that's the first thing that's super, super weird. I wanted to start with that because keep that in mind. There's also been so much chaos on the set of his new film, okay? He was extorted for $30,000. 4 people, I think, were fired. 1 person was arrested. There were fake Rolexes going around. There was, when they were filming by the pier, they were in London. They found an old World War II bomb, which, to be real, that's not Jamie Foxx's fault. That's just one of those weird things that happen. However, keep in mind that even Carmen Diaz, which made me think, is that set cursed? Is there an evil spirit going around? Carmen Diaz is super, super tight with, I know it's Cameron, but my whole family calls her Carmen, so that baby's name is Carmen. All right, Cameron Diaz, she came out of retirement because Jamie Foxx is a really, really good friend of hers, and she was planning to use this vehicle as a reason to jumpstart a career. She wanted to get back into acting. The set was so stressful that Carmen Diaz said she was retiring again after collapsing on set.
I don't know. I just know these conspiracy theories are weird, but it is strange that so many things was coming out around this movie before Jamie Foxx went into the hospital, and the police did actually go to the hospital. I don't know. I think it's either that or Jamie allegedly, from my opinion, took some bad drugs. Because it could be both, honestly. And when you get schizo with them drugs, I'm just saying, something ain't right.
Blessings to everybody.
Let's see what else we got here.
The New York Times says we don't know where 85,000 unaccompanied minors wound up.
We do not track or monitor.
The answer is no. There are 85,000 kids who came across the border. We don't know. Is that right? Apparently it is.
ORR works within the statutes and authorities and resources provided.
Okay, well, we'll take that to mean we don't know where they are.
Have you seen these numbers? These are reports of trafficking and abuse of migrant children. You can see a massive surge that begins to happen when you come to office in 2021. Huge surge, reports of trafficking, reports of neglect and abuse. Let's just look at a few of the details. This is absolutely unbelievable. I can't believe this happens in the United States of America in this day and age. This is from the New York Times. Thousands of children.
Slavery exists today, according to what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Does it exist to the same degree as it existed in prior centuries?
Actually, the numbers, and again, not to downplay at all that horrible blight, the transatlantic slave trade at all. There's nothing worse than that. But in terms of numbers, there are more people in slavery today than ever before in the history of the world. In fact, you could add up all the people that were enslaved during the transatlantic slave period, 300, 400-year period of the transatlantic slave trade, and there's more people alive in slavery today than all of those combined. And these are people who don't control their body, whether it's sex, labor, or organ.
So I guess they're equating that there is 85,000 missing minors from those migrant children. So yeah, hopefully they will return.
I mean, Harmony.
Hi.
Harmony, how are you?
I'm good.
So, Harmony, tell me what has been going on in your life. You've had a crazy life for a 13, you're now 14 years old, right?
Yeah, it's been a real story.
Tell me what's going on.
So lately, I have been back in LA, but I've stopped everything that I was doing.
So you're back in LA for what reason? Because last time we did that interview with your mom, you ended up going back to Kansas City with her.
Yeah, I'm back out here because I'm going through a lot of stuff with the system and stuff like that, right? The legal system. So I'm back out here, but I prefer to be at home. But
you want to be home with your family?
Yeah, but with what they're doing, it's hard for me to do to just, get back out there and just, I can't keep going back and forth. So
you go back to your family, but you end up getting pulled back to Los Angeles because of
because they don't want me with my mom, and it's no reason they should not want me with my mom.
So there was no abuse in your childhood. There was no your dad was a good father, and your mom was busy working a lot when she was younger, but now she's at home with your sister.
I'm starting to do better with being around her kids, and
you have a good relationship with your mom.
Yeah, I have a good relationship with her. It can be better, but I have a good relationship with her as far as us and love and loyalty. But that was one of the main reasons why I was out there, even on the streets before, because I was, a person that don't know nothing or do know, but don't know a lot or don't get attention or stuff like that, or don't get the love that they need at the time, gonna seek somewhere else for other stuff like that. And
why do you think you ran away in the first place?
Because the whole reason was because my mom wasn't giving me no attention, and
because she was busy working.
She was busy working, or busy doing what
She traveled for work.
Yeah. And even when we moved out here, she had a boyfriend or whatever, so it was a lot going on.
So you're living in LA, you ran away at one point?
Yeah, I had left because...
Did you run away or you just didn't come home one night?
I ran. I left. I didn't come back.
And then somehow you got mixed up into prostitution. How did that happen?
I had a friend and she was a hoe, and at the time I didn't know how to do what or what to do what. Like, I didn't even know about all this prostitution. I didn't even know about none of this. Mind you, I'm a Kansas girl.
13 years old.
Yeah, I don't know about none of this, but I had got on the blade on Fig. I just knew it was called Fig. I didn't know a lot at all, but I had went and I was so confused because, like, people yelling at me and stuff. I'm confused, like,
Had you had sex before? You were 13 years old.
Yeah, I already lost my virginity. That's when I lost my virginity is when I started messing up more and started wanting to see more life, or just started leaving, running because of what's going on at home. But other than that, there was no reason for me to really leave or do any of that stuff. It's just the only reason I was doing any prostitution or doing anything like that out here, because where else am I gonna go? Who's gonna take care of me? Who's gonna make sure I'm stable? Because I've never had a stable home. Like, so when somebody offers me stability or, put a lot.
So I did a story on that little 13-year-old, and where she is today is her update. And so she said she ran away because her mom wasn't really paying attention to her, which is sad. I always know there's two sides to every story, but parenting is a hard job. I'll say that.
A few days afterwards, my mom was already threatening for me to be next if I were to step out of line.
Wait a minute.
Anytime my mom wanted to send me out to the grocery store, she would stop me at the door and she would tell me, you can go out there and you can be free and you can be whatever kind of hoe you want to be. But if you bring the police back to this house, you're going to be responsible for what happens. I will take your brother, kill him, and then kill myself. The very first time my mom threatened that to me, I felt a pit in my stomach. It felt like my heart just dropped to my stomach because I believed it wholeheartedly. Every day I'm on my tiptoes, tiptoeing around her, unable to do anything for fear that it'll set her off. In March of 2015, my mom got an eviction notice in the mail. My mom hadn't paid rent, and she owed a certain amount of money, so we were being evicted.
I don't understand.
When she read it, she started panicking. The eviction letter meant to her that this whole thing was over. There was nowhere else that my mom could hide the bodies. This was it. This was the end. She couldn't run. She couldn't hide anymore. She talked about often killing us and then killing herself. And so I thought that that's what was about to happen, was that she was just going to end it all. I immediately thought, we're going to die. And I just sat there and waited. I just sat and waited to die.
Come with me. We're leaving.
But then she told me we're going to the neighbor's house, and it confused me. was afraid because things were changing, but I was excited. I was happy that I wasn't dying.
I need to see if you can watch my kids for me.
The neighbor let us in, and my mom explains to the neighbor that Stephen and Stoney are dead, and they have been for 2 years, and she's been hiding them. I don't know why my mom decided to confess. My mom asked if it was okay if me and my youngest brother went upstairs. We went upstairs and we turned on the news, and I saw our front door on the news, and breaking news come across that they found what appears to be an old woman. They called Stoney an old woman. She was frozen, and so they couldn't accurately make out that it was a 13-year-old girl. Maybe 10 minutes pass, I believe, and we hear voices call our names. I didn't recognize the voice as my neighbor's or my mom, so I didn't know until I got downstairs and saw that there were the police. My mom was in handcuffs at this point, and she called me over and started to apologize profusely and tell me that she loved me. And my mom asked me for a hug, but by this point her hands were already cuffed, so she couldn't wrap her arms around me. So she leaned her chest against mine. I didn't hug her back though. That was probably the first time I've genuinely felt anger. She just kept saying how sorry she was, how much she loved me. I moved in with my great aunt, and my aunt adopted my youngest brother. I was elated because my aunt adopting him meant that we could stay together. My aunt is the kind of person to turn on the news at 7 in the morning, and I would see pictures and videos of my mom lashing out and practically acting like a rabid dog.
I am the only one throughout both these cases. I haven't lied about anything. As horrendous as everybody think I am, that's fine. But I'm the only one that's not lying about anything.
I felt disgusted. I felt embarrassed that I came from that. That's my mom.
I did what I did. I did what I did for my baby. Period.
She justified my brother and sister's murders. There was no remorse because I believe at one point she clearly said if I had the chance, I'd do it again.
I definitely missed you.
Wasn't an accident?
No, not at all. If I had the chance to do it again, I would.
Over time, my stance on my mom's sentence has shifted. My stance started off as she deserves death. Now I realize that death is mercy. She has to live, and she has to remember and think about everything she's ever done and not be able to atone for it. And I think that if there's anything that she deserves is to live with that pain.
That poor girl. So that was Michelle Blair and her daughter Gabby Blair, and that I did a story on them a couple of days ago or last week on her putting her kids in the freezer and all that. Just sad. I hope that girl gets some therapy because these parents, you know, when I just said parenting is a hard job, but then there's just some people that don't need to be parents, and that lady clearly has some demons going on. I really hope that that girl and the son gets the help they deserve, because that has got to be a hard pill to swallow. You know what? I tried to end on a good note. Hopefully I did. Hopefully it kept you intrigued at least. You guys have an amazing weekend. I'm going to try to get some sleep per usual. But you know how that goes. You guys stay safe out there. Is it in yet? It's signing off.